Welcome to Puzzled and Chatty, the international edition with me, Adam Gray, where I talk with jigsaw puzzlers from around the world and share their stories, thoughts, and opinions on this growing competitive activity and the global puzzle community. In this episode, I sit down with a puzzler who has been competing for less than a year but has already had a top 10 finish at the World Championships and is set for a big 2026. From the United Kingdom, it is Rachael Chambers. Rachael and I discuss her very successful first year of competitive speed puzzling, what the United Kingdom is doing so well in growing the sport of speed puzzling, and we do a deep dive into the upcoming World Series where Rachael is expected to be a top contender, and I will also be there. So pull up a chair and pick a puzzle off the shelf to do while you listen to two people who are puzzled and chatty. Welcome to another episode of Puzzled and Chatty. I am Adam, the host of this puzzle cast, and I am joined by one of the top competitors in the world, and we're going to see her quite a bit over the next coming months. From the UK, it is Rachael Chambers. Thank you, Rachael. Welcome.
Thanks, Adam, and thank you so much for having me and for that kind introduction.
It's true, and we will get into it, but you're somewhat new-ish to speed puzzling in terms of
Yeah.
these big competitions.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I I start this usually with background and stuff information. I'm going to start a little bit different this time. Did you
Mhm.
think just over not even a year, just over a
Mhm.
year, I guess, at this point, in a
Mhm.
year or so into it, did you think you would be at this level of competitiveness?
Absolutely not. I mean, this time a year ago, I'd never even been to a puzzle competition yet. So, UK Nationals last year was my first competition. So we're coming up to 12 months on it. And I was going into that just to have fun, give it a go, and see how I did. No real expectations. So being here and being at Worlds earlier this year, like everything is just still pretty new and exciting to me. And I'm just really sort of happy to be here.
Yeah, and it's been quite the journey over these 12 months
Yeah.
for you for then most people I think that and we're going to get into all this stuff, your background, everything else. We're going to talk about Worlds last year
Mhm.
briefly. You do have the UK Nationals coming up again in
Mhm.
just over a week from this recording. And then the World Series we're obviously going to focus on because this is the
Yeah, of course.
final countdown to the World Series, and I do want to get some opinions from
Yeah.
some top people who because I'm not going to have the same perspective as you going into the World Series. You're going to have very different goals than I will for it. But before I get into that, let's just talk about your background a little bit. You mentioned that you started speed puzzling competitively just over a year ago, or less than a year ago. But how did you get into puzzles? Did you start from a young age?
Yeah, as far back as I can remember, I've always done puzzles, just for fun, like the way that any kid would really. I my mum, my gran, and my nan are all big puzzlers, so like doing puzzles with them when I went around their houses, and whenever my dad went out on a Monday night with his friends, me and my mum would watch hospital dramas and sit with a board on our laps and do 1,000 piece puzzles together. Usually like Disney sort of princesses or kind of those kind of scenes. So yeah, I've always done puzzles. And I know a lot of people probably had that time. I don't know if it's the same for you, like you kind of go away from it sort of when you stop being a kid and you sort of leave the puzzling behind. But I actually have had sort of a series of knee injuries and operations when I was a teenager. And so over that time when I was sort of sitting with my leg up off school bored, not knowing what to do with myself, my mum would give me puzzles and I'd sit and do puzzles. So I guess I never really stopped doing puzzles, even from when I was a kid. In terms of like the speed puzzling, I guess I, like everyone, Karen puzzles is the sort of the gateway drug. I was watching a Try Guys video where she did like a competition against all four Try Guys to see if she could beat 4v1. And I sort of saw her YouTube channel and sort of watched it from then on. And then she started to do like an introduction to the World Championships. And I got sort of interested, watched some of the live streams. 2024, I was laid up again on crutches in the summer, and so really went to town on the live streams. I think I probably watched every minute of them. And Annika from the UK Puzzle Association was on the commentary doing like a guest spot. And she sort of sort of announced the UK nationals, and sort of the tickets went on sale at that point. So at that point, I thought, well, that's a lot more achievable than going to Spain to do something that I don't know if I'm any good at. Like I can go 2 hours in the UK. Like so at that point, that was when I started ordering a few of the world's puzzles, sort of actually starting to like time myself a couple of times and see how I would have done. And I knew I was like, I suppose relatively fast. Like I wasn't like slow, but I just really had no mark at that point of like where to compare myself, or and I didn't know anything about the UK puzzling scene, so I had no idea if there were like fast people in the UK that I didn't know of, or had no expectations going into nationals at all.
Yeah, and it's it's quite the like I already mentioned, it's quite the little journey that you've had where it's gone from yeah, you do puzzles to now you're competing at these top levels. And you say that going to Spain maybe might not have been the best choice to start with, but I've spoken to so many people where Spain, the World Championships has been their first competition. It's a unique type of sport activity that we have here where yeah, some people start at the highest possible highest possible level.
I
Um,
guess to me it always just seemed like that would be like such a crazy thing to do, to like fly to another country, and like I don't know anyone in the puzzling scene, and like I'd be there by myself, and like what would I do? Like I just didn't, I don't know, I just didn't feel like it was something that like was realistic or like I could do. Like yeah, it didn't occur to me to like go and do that.
yeah, and I was kind of the same when I went to my first nationals. I
Mhm.
didn't know anybody else. I just kind of showed up, did my thing, and left. I only did
Mm.
individuals my first couple years. But what was it like walking into your first nationals then, I guess?
I have real memories of like waking up that morning to like drive up to Bradford, which is where it's held, and sort of being like a complete bag of nerves. Just like I had no idea what to expect, what the people would be like. Would I be any good? Would I not? And I remember my boyfriend I had sort of roped him in, and he came along to support and like drive me up. And he said to me in the car on the way up to Bradford, imagine if you just came in out of nowhere and just like won the whole thing. Like, imagine that would be so funny. Like that would be hilarious. And I was like, haha, yeah, that won't happen. I'm just going to have fun and see what it's like. And so yeah, I got there. It was like overwhelming because there was a queue out the door for registration, and I just didn't know who to speak to. I didn't know who anyone was in the UK sort of jigsaw puzzle scene at that time. There were a couple people that I vaguely recognized, so Scarlett and Vicky who do YouTube videos, I'd sort of seen them. There were a couple of names I vaguely recognized from like the World's live stream, but I really just sat quietly with my boyfriend, kind of full of nerves, and just waited for the competition to start, really. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and I understand that kind of awkwardness kind of going into the first one. At least you did have your boyfriend with you, which does
Yeah.
make it a bit easier. When you were competing in I'm just going to skip to the finals for the individuals.
But there was
Um,
only finals. There was just finals for pairs and individual. That was all there was.
Oh, I thought there was no qualify. So you just had the tea party puzzle. That was
Yeah,
the only.
that was it.
Okay. So as you were going through it, now you didn't win. Emma Quirk was the
Mhm.
winner of the UK Nationals, and I will always find it funny that someone from Ireland won the UK Nationals. And Emma's appeared on here as well. And will be returning this year to as you know, to the UK Nationals, which we'll talk about in a bit. But she finished and she won, like clearly won by like 6 or 7 minutes. Like that was fine. But as you were getting close to finishing, did you were you aware that you were going to be or potentially could be very near the top?
I guess I had that moment where, I don't know, I got down to 30, 40 pieces left, and I started to think, hang, because I assumed like Emma had done finish so long ago, I just assumed that someone else would finish. I still at that point had loads left, but then as the pieces were coming down and down, I started to think, maybe I do have a chance. Like I don't, this is strange. And then about, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes from the end, a camera came and plonked itself down next to me. And at that point I thought, oh, okay, I'm obviously up here then. So at that point I'd like the adrenaline just through the roof, like sort of like little jittery and handshaky and just because it was just so unexpected. Like I just never thought that I would be in that position going in. And it was just sort of surreal, those last sort of few pieces, like yeah, it's just like crazy for me. Like I just really didn't expect it.
Were are you someone who wears like headphones or anything? Were you aware of how many people had finished already?
No, so I never wear headphones. I like to just like hear what's going on and like I find the music a bit distracting. So I was well aware that like no one else, there had been no more claps, that like I was potentially up for second place. Yeah, it was a yeah, crazy one.
And yeah, you do finish in second place.
Yeah.
Technically, the top UK based puzzler to at the competition. So if it wasn't for Emma, yeah, you definitely would have won
Mhm.
with it. And that's quite the experience, I think, to show up as your first competition and do that well. Um, skipping a few months later to the World Championships, which you do attend last year in Spain. Uh, uh, what was your thoughts going into this? Because I've done like I said the Canadian Nationals, which is big enough. But walking into Worlds for me was there's a different mindset. What was it like for you going into that dome?
I guess I can't really answer that question without talking about sort of the period in between nationals and worlds, because sort of after I did well at nationals, everyone was really encouraging about going to worlds. And Emma Quirk actually is one that I talk to a lot. So sort of telling me how fun it would be, like that like it's a great opportunity, you should go. So like that encouragement and like having that support of people around me really made me think like this is something I could do now. Like I know people, like I can go. And also maybe I could be competitive. Like this is strange. And then people had introduced me to the idea of an online competition because I didn't know that they existed until I got to nationals and talked to people. So I started doing some of the UK puzzle guzzle competitions. Did pretty well on those, and then also started doing some EJJs. So that was my first chance to really like compete and go against some of those like names that I watched on the live stream and knew for years. And I did pretty well. Like when I started the EJJs, like I was starting in around the top 10-ish, and it started to make me think like I could be onto something here. Like, and I think I really caught the bug for speed puzzling then, after nationals, having done so well. So then it was like, let's train, let's practice. Like, I need to get hold of more puzzles. And I think I really started to like apply myself and dedicate myself more to it as like a competitive thing rather than just something you do casually for fun. So I guess then going into Worlds, I guess I probably just felt more prepared than I did going into UK Nationals. I'd been to a competition, I knew what to expect. Like, I kind of knew that I had a bit of a chance of doing okay. I knew some people, but then still nothing prepares you for when you actually get there, you see the dome that you've watched on TV and you sort of walk through that door and you see all the people. Like it did sort of bring it home to me at that point, like I'm really here. This is happening. Like that was a big moment. And I guess same for you, surely, like the first time you went to Wales, you must have had that same exact moment.
Yeah, yeah, it's just the dome itself isn't quite what I expect. Like looking at it from the outside, it's not quite what you think. It's not huge. This seems bigger when
It's
you
smaller
go.
than expected, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's different when you go in. It seems bigger once you're in,
Mhm.
like a TARDIS type of situation. With it, it does seem to grow
Yeah.
when once you're inside. But uh, not talking about any of the issues and stuff because that's been talked to death about the World Championships overall. Before we get into the results, did you enjoy your Worlds experience?
Yeah, I had just the most amazing time. Like results aside, like it was just actually getting to meet that international puzzling community and all those people that I'd been watching and seeing on like the live streams, and just everyone being so open, so friendly, and just being around people who loved puzzles for an entire week. It was like just an amazing experience. I loved it every minute.
I also think I'm, if I had to rank like the country representation
Mhm.
and kind of the atmosphere around the different groups, the UK is definitely going to be in that top one, two, or three with it. There's just you always knew where the UK team was. Like they're loud, but not in an obnoxious way like some other countries might be. It's just they're always happy. They're out doing things.
Yeah. I think
I've
the
met
community is like a real massive thing in the UK. Like, it's just that sort of like the support and that network within that community. Like, you'll see it now. If you watch an EJJ and there's a British person competing, there will be 7 or 8 people in that chat cheering that person on. Like, that is just the community that's been built by the Puzzle Association here. And having the matching shirts, having like a designated area where we had a gazebo and our flag, and we could all meet there every day and sort of be together was great. And then also in the evenings, the association was amazing at like basically every evening there'd be a different sort of bar or restaurant where if you want to meet up and have drinks or chat to people, this is where we're going to be tonight. So every night when you were there, and a lot of people were there by themselves, there was a place to go and be with everyone. And so that community, like from the UK, is like such a strong thing. And like you say, I think we really show up at Worlds and things like that.
I was out with the UK people the night before the teams final, so that Saturday evening. As a
On the bar crawl.
yeah, so it made the team's event a little bit interesting. The next day, I was in the finals. That's all I cared about, really. We weren't winning it, so I was fine for the next day. But another one of my teammates were also out doing on the same bar crawl, so I felt okay with that. It
I
wasn't
had
just me.
the funnest night that night because me and Emma Quirk were like on a massive high. Like we'll talk about results in a sec, I guess, but we were on such a high that night. The bar crawl at sort of like the end of the week. It was our last night, everyone together, and like we just roped in all these people that we were met along the way. So like I have this real vivid memory of being in this one bar playing like fuzzball with Chiara from Italy, and just thinking like, what a weird situation to find myself in. Like, and I remember her saying to me like, "Oh, if Victor and Hannah and Catty knew that I was out here, I'd be in so much trouble." Like, because the team's final was the next morning. Like,
Yeah.
but we were just having so much fun. Like, it was a great night.
And especially for her because they were going for the win.
Yeah.
Like Emma, yourself, myself, we're not on super
No.
competitive teams,
Well,
so
I
it
had a
wasn't.
team of 3 for the final. Like we lost a member. She went home early. So like we were not competitive. We were like just there to have fun. Like so for me and Emma, like we were out just having fun. Like it was great.
It was yeah, it was a good fun. I'm curious to see what's going to happen in a few weeks in Germany,
Yeah.
because we'll get to that. The results. We'll just talk about the
Mhm.
individual round because that's what matters the most
Mhm.
here. Your first competition. You were in all of my rounds for the individuals. So we were in the first qualifier. So we were the first to experience the choice
Mhm.
and to find out about the
The
seals
rule
and to find
change
out
and
about the
yeah.
rule changes. And that was a lot to take
We were
in,
the guinea
right?
pigs. Like yeah.
Especially because it's both our first worlds. It's just,
Yeah.
there's a lot going on here. Um, I've read your Instagram post where you've talked about the choices, and you went with Lake Como
Mhm.
for your choice here. You
Yeah.
didn't go with the circle down here. You good with that?
Yeah. 100%. Like I pretty much knew like as soon as we saw that there it was a circle and a rectangle, I pretty much knew that the rectangle is probably always going to be the better choice for me. And then a landscape photograph is just like something that really suits me. I actually, funnily enough, I actually thought I'd done that puzzle before.
Yeah.
Um, but I hadn't. So I was picking it thinking, oh yeah, I know this puzzle. And it was actually slightly different to what I was expecting. But no, I was happy with the choice and I came fourth, which was like incredible. So that gave me such a confidence boost that round. Like it was a real
Yeah,
sort of it like settled me down, I feel like the nerves and everything. Like I'd done a puzzle in the dome, I'd done okay, like okay, this is going how I expected. Like, let's just keep going now.
I kept glancing up at the big screen at the front to see who was finishing, and because I went back and forth on the choices, I was the same as like the rectangle. I've practiced rectangles more and better at rectangles. Circles, I don't like circles. The dark circle of colors like astrology and dreams, if they showed up, okay, I can do those ones pretty quickly, but I've never seen this one before. I didn't even know it existed. So I
No,
was like,
dude.
yeah, Lake Como, definitely going to do that one. And then we have that minute to think about it, and that minute just made me go with the circle. I don't know what I was doing, so I kept watching the screen at the front, and first place finished with Lake Como, second place Lake Como, and I think I saw yours. I maybe saw fifth place show up on the screen. I was like, I can't watch that because no one has picked the circles, and now I'm panicking a lot to get through it. I still haven't done this puzzle on my own because I don't know if I can mentally
Yeah, if you see that
um,
you would have been faster, like,
yeah,
yeah, you're just gonna kick
like I
yourself.
like I made it through anyways, but it was I don't know if I'm gonna force myself to go slower just to kind of make myself feel better. I'm certainly not doing it before the World Series. I'll do it sometime before the World Championships, but yeah, still haven't done that. You moved on to the semifinals easily if you're in fourth place, and now you have your own table, correct?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, right
With
behind Victor too. So,
uh,
no pressure.
yeah, yeah, yeah. End up with
Mm.
Blossom Walk. With it, is it your out of the three semifinal puzzles? Is this your style?
I I think immediately when I opened it, it wasn't like, oh yeah, this is perfect for me. But actually now, seeing the two other ones, I actually think from the three, this is the best one for me. Um, it suits me probably the way I puzzle better. Um, Obviously, Kawaii Chaos is pick and place, and then the gradient sort of Paris Rainbow one, that towards the start is okay, but then towards the end, when you get to those light sections, it's just so much shape work. And yeah, I just think out of the three, like this is the one where I could be most competitive, I think.
Yeah, I'm definitely Kawaii Chaos. I've done that one
Mm.
since, and I flew through that. I would have made the finals easily with that one. I didn't in this case with Blossom Walk, but it was because I thought maybe it reminded me a little bit, not fully, but a little bit of your UK individual, where it's a lot of
Mm.
random things going on and things can
Mm.
really only go in one spot, which I like. There's no
Mm.
confusion as to where things go.
Mm.
But it doesn't really matter. You easily walk through into
Yeah.
the finals.
I will say though, like Worlds for me was a bit of a roller coaster. So this round was not an easy day for me. I woke up that morning and I was so sick. I was literally like in bed an hour before the thing started with like cold chills, which I mean it was a 40-degree heat wave and I'm shivering bundled up in duvets. Like I was really not good at all. And I was really thinking, can I even go and compete in this round? And then you go and sit in the boiling hot dome and just absolutely like dripping sweat. Like I was so unwell that day. And really for me that was almost just like a get through it. Like I wasn't enjoying myself. I wasn't really even thinking about the puzzle or strategically or where I came. I was just like, get through that puzzle, get to finals, rest up. Like that was all I was thinking. I was, as people clapped, like I knew that I was not going to be competitive that day, and I was just trying to block it out. And I was under my breath the entire time, muttering just just find another piece, another piece, just do one piece. Like, don't worry, just can you find another piece? And like, so for me, like, I got through, but also like, it was not like a great day for me. Like, that was sort of a real dip for me at Worlds.
Yeah, and but you still you do manage to get through. And I'm just refreshing my mind because I know it was a 4 o'clock p.m. start.
Yeah,
Which sounds like it's nice. Oh, it's later in the day, but that's right when
it's
the
peak
heat was
in the heat.
really hitting that dome. And we had the same situation for the qualifier was also at 4 o'clock. So it was we knew what the heat was going to be, and it was even worse by that point. But you still managed to finish the puzzle in 40 minutes. Like it even on a bad day, you're still working your way through and getting to the finals.
And the one like I guess relief about like that was actually like it took the pressure off for the final. Like I wasn't up the front anymore. I was back right in the middle of the pack, and sort of that felt more comfortable going into the final for me as well. So it might have been a blessing in disguise, honestly.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that. So you don't get a full table in the final at this point because you're not in the top 10, I think. Top 8? I don't remember. Um, but do you think was that fine? Would
Yeah.
the larger table have helped, do you think, or was it just you're fine with the half?
I'm fine with the half. I'm not someone who like spreads my pieces out far and wide. I try and keep quite compact. So in actual fact, having that half table, like it really doesn't matter to me. And I actually quite like the reassurance of having that other person sort of next to me to chat to at the start and just like helps take some of the nerves out of it. So yeah, it wasn't really a big worry that to not have a full table. Like it was actually probably a comfort to be the other way
I
and
think the
have
only
less of the pressure. Like
Yeah. I think the only time it would definitely be beneficial is if the finals was like a
circle.
circle puzzle.
Yeah, for sure.
Because then you could build the entire board and not have to worry about all that space. But that's
Completely
a
agree.
rare. I don't foresee
Yeah.
that happening. Having
Mm.
said that, the US
The US
Nationals
Nationals just did it.
just
Yeah.
did. So um never mind. And the Canadian Nationals coming up soon, and we have the same Ravensburger printers, I guess, because it's the North American one. So who knows what we're gonna get for our nationals. I hope it's not a circle in the finals. I hope it's not a circle at all. Um, but we'll see. But yeah, you finish, which which is funny and maybe disappoint. I don't know what your perspective is going to be. You finish in 10th place, again, one spot behind Emma. Uh, much closer this time though, only
Yeah.
11 seconds behind, but you are you're top 10. You're 10th fastest in the world. What's when you find that out, what's the emotion like?
Like just unreal. Like beyond my absolute wildest expectations going into Worlds. I was thinking, because I knew me and Emma were like at that point getting to the point where we're pretty similar, and Emma had come 33rd the year before at Worlds. So my goal sort of going into the final was like, let's aim for top 33, like around where Emma was last time. Like that's a good goal. And obviously with my sort of semi-final and being a bit lower down, that was still like beating my table number by quite a bit to do that. So yeah, had no real expectations. And then the puzzle itself was a hard puzzle, I would say, that final puzzle. And sort of people have always said to me that like they think a harder puzzle like is better for me, like comparatively, I will maybe perform better on a harder puzzle. Um, and so I just was telling myself, everyone's going to be finding this hard. You can do a hard puzzle. Like this might give you a chance. Just keep calm. And I really got into such a good zone throughout that puzzle. And I heard people finishing and like obviously I expected that to happen. But there weren't that many people who had finished. And I was coming into the close. So like I had that same thing at the UK. It's like, hang on, like I'm got a chance here. Um, and it was actually hilarious when I finished because I sort of like finished and straight away turned to my boyfriend and he was like, I think you're in the top 10. And like I was just like couldn't believe it. And then I straight away looked over to see Emma Quirk because I was like, I knew where she was in the room. We'd like looked at each other and I was like, how is she doing? And she was like stood up, like celebrating as well. And I was like, "You finished, I finished." Like, and we did that same thing that Catty and Victor did. We like ran over and hugged each other. And Emma said, "I looked over, I think you finished just before me." And I said, "No, I think you finished just before me." So we knew we were like very close. Um, we actually finished 6 seconds apart. I had a missing piece, so like it was like a super fine margin. So like neither of us knew. So we were both standing there together watching the leaderboard to wait and see our like places come up, ninth and tenth. But like could not be happier like to like be there with Emma. Like it was great.
Yeah, and I could tell by the as we already mentioned, the night out that followed. Yeah, there was some celebrations taking place because yeah, two people, one from Ireland, one from the UK, not massive puzzle nations coming in
Mm.
at the top in the top 10 because like, I'm looking at the results here. Poland, big nation, Germany, obviously, Czech Republic, yes, Netherlands, yes, Spain, of course. And then you have Ireland and the UK, and it's just England specifically. It's interesting to see that happen. So yeah,
And
excellent
all that
results.
night, Emma kept saying to me, "You're the 10th fastest puzzler in the world, you know." And I was like, "I know, and you're the ninth." Like we could not believe it. Um, to be that close together was like just it was the real like icing on the cake. And I remember saying to Emma that night, I was like, "You know, I am gonna beat you one day. Like I'm getting close now. Like it's gonna happen." But I feel like we have such a like fun, like friendly rivalry. Like there's no real competition in actual fact, but it's such a like great motivator to have someone that close to you that like I mean now we're so well matched on like almost every puzzle that we do. So it's really just fun and motivational.
And speaking of having that friendly rivalry, we'll come to this in a second, but um, we'll talk about the UK puzzle
Yeah.
scenes. We're gonna skip ahead now to what's happening now in the UK. This is as a each guest I have from a new country. We just want to talk about that a little bit. So we have the UK Jigsaw Puzzle Association.
Mhm.
Um, are you associated with them in any way? Or are you just there to speed puzzle?
I'm just there to puzzle. So it's only a board of three at the moment that runs like the UK JPA, and it's been that same three from the beginning. But no, I'm just there to puzzle and have fun.
Which
Help when needed, but like yeah.
yeah, which I do like to see
Everyone
because
does.
when you have a crossover between like the top puzzlers and the people running it, there can be some there's different perspectives from that point of view, but yeah, so it's nice to see the outsider point of view with it. What would you say then the the Puzzle Association is doing well at the moment with the within the UK?
I think the sort of what I was mentioning earlier, really, the community that they're building, that is such a strong community. And I think the sort of sustainable growth of puzzling, so we'll probably come to it, but like growing competition, so nationals is bigger this year. We've had two competitions this year rather than one. So like growing in a sustainable way, and just putting on like fun events. So whenever there's events that we'll be doing puzzle chicken and there will probably be a social afterwards and like there's much more to it in terms of building community than just turning up, puzzling and going home. Like I think that's what they're doing really well.
And I didn't really consider this until I spoke with a few people from the UK and look back at my experiences as well. My family is mostly from Scotland,
Mhm.
and there's that wasn't really a puzzle family with it, but I know people
Mhm.
that did those types of things. And from my experience in the UK, it's very much we're going to do a Christmas puzzle, family puzzle around that time of year. It's not going to be taken too seriously. There are some UK based brands, which we'll talk about, but and that was kind of it. Trying to convince people to do this as a competition might seem a bit out of place, I think,
Mhm.
because it's yeah, it's just an odd thing for a British from the for the British mindset to think we're going to do this as fast as possible and do as many
Mm.
as possible instead of the one family casual type of experience.
With a cup of tea and a plate of biscuits and like
Yeah.
let's all just yeah, exactly right.
Now the UK, it's a bit unique compared to any other organization because the UK is four countries. Um, so it's. Do you think that's? I don't know. What's your thoughts on how this might impact the puzzle community?
Well, I think, I mean,
It's
we are
weird how it's
yeah, we
looked
are
at.
still a
Yeah,
small country, so like the UK as a whole.
yeah.
So even if you are in Scotland or Wales or even Northern Ireland, like travel between those places is not super difficult. But we are four countries in one. And I think the way they're addressing that is with the way they're growing. So speaking to the like Puzzle Association, so this year we had an event in Wales. Um, and the idea is very much to continue to have the events in the different locations. So I think next year it's probably going to be that we'll have the Welsh event that we had already, the Nationals, and then also probably a Scottish event. And then the following year, probably then Northern Ireland. And I think the idea is to build to a point where you have like four regional events that happen in the year, and then UK as a whole, nationals that happens once a year, um, so that everyone can get to a local competition that is maybe a little less competitive. And I mean, if you want to, you could travel and do all four, but like you get like a group of people who will go to a local competition that might not travel to like a bigger competition, I would guess. So like that is the vision like going forward. So I think that is gonna sort of address that. We also had obviously the like quirk of having like Ireland as well. So Ireland obviously very much
Pun
is its
intended.
own separate country. But they didn't have their own puzzle association. For the first year of UK Nationals, Irish people were eligible to compete to win prizes. But since then, Emma Quirk has set up the Irish Puzzle Association and they're going to have their first Nationals later this year. So, because there is now a separate Irish Nationals, the UK competition is now restricted to UK people winning the prizes, like going forwards. So, like, they are now two separate sort of national competitions. You won't have an Irish person winning the UK nationals again.
Winning the prizes because it's still possible that we may we may
Absolutely.
see um maybe not necessarily someone from Ireland, but it could be somebody because I know
Someone else. Yeah.
there is a bigger influx this year, I think, of
Yeah,
external countries coming up to the
absolutely.
UK nationals.
And I think that's because we are so close to the World Series. So a lot of people are making the trip to Europe for the World Series. So to come to the UK Nationals sort of on their way works out well for a lot of people.
Yeah, and I think the Puzzle Association has done a good job of securing the unreleased puzzles as
Mhm.
well, which is going to bring in more people. Like we in Canada, we still can't get the puzzles that were unreleased for your puzzles for your last year. So they don't sell them in Canada.
Mhm.
So people do want to get these
Mhm.
puzzles, and if they're as good as they were before, we're going to see
Oh,
what.
the link
Yeah,
is so good with Ravensburger, like the UK branch of Ravensburger. The ladies who run it, like they're very invested in speed puzzling as a thing, and I think they really see that like that market and that audience and the connection with the puzzlers is such a valuable thing. So I think the buy-in is so there from Ravensburger UK, which is why like they are championing for us to have these unreleased puzzles, and I think they see the importance of that. So I think we're very lucky in that respect.
definitely. Yeah, being able having someone in Canada similar. We have our we get our unreleased puzzles, and it's all set up for our nationals for every round, which I think is great. We see that with the U.S.
Mhm.
Nationals as well. Hopefully, it gets to the point where every national competition and international competition has every round
Mhm.
is unreleased. I think one of those will take longer than the rest, but we will hopefully see it at some point. Um, what would you, before we get into actual nationals coming up, what is there anything else that you would say that they're doing well? They have the community aspect.
Mhm.
Is there other ways that they kind of keep in touch with everybody type of thing?
Yeah, so I mean, not strictly the UK JPA, but the UK Puzzlers have sort of formed a bit of a Discord community. So that's a very active like community group. We post in there like when we're doing puzzles, if people are doing the EJJ, who's participating today, let's cheer each other on, that kind of thing. But then through that, members have also organised sort of like social puzzle along type events. So we've been doing for probably 6 months or more now, Puzzle Gym, which is like a weekly thing. And basically the way it works is we pick a Ravensburger 500 puzzle that most people have probably got in their houses, or it's easily to get. Um, and we run it from Monday morning to Sunday night. And basically, let's see how we can improve our times during this week and share tips and talk about like what bits do you do first and strategies. With the idea being that obviously repetition and like learning from each other is going to help the community all get faster. And then that culminates in on a Sunday night at 8 o'clock. There is a like Zoom call every week. So we will all sit down and do our final attempts at that puzzle all together with the timer on. And we'll all wait and cheer each other on. So like that is like an amazing thing that has been happening. And then recently started doing first time Fridays. So with all the 2026 releases on a Friday night, we're doing one a week of all doing our first attempt together and having a go at the new puzzles. So it's stuff like that that it's small and it's like not not difficult, but like it needs the community to be on board and to support it. And um, I know Steve, who set up some of the events, he set up the puzzle dream. He said, if I tried to do this in some of the other communities that I'm in, like it just wouldn't happen. But like the puzzlers have made it happen because everyone is so bought in and like wanting to do the stuff that it just it happens and it's great.
And do you see people from like all ability levels in this Discord?
Absolutely, yeah. So you'll have people who are doing the 500 piece puzzle. Maybe they start off like around the 2 hour mark even, and trying to get it down. And it's such a supportive thing. It's everyone is trying to improve their time and everyone is happy for everyone else to improve their time, no matter where on the spectrum you are.
I really like that. I like seeing countries do these types of things and bring it in. Canada has something similar with
Mm,
our Canadian Speed Puzzlers
mm,
group that does that. If someone from the UK is watching this for the first time, they're
mm.
not aware of the Discord, how would they join?
Yeah. So the best way is to reach out to SJ Bodell. She's the one who set up the Discord. You can find her on Instagram. She's under Two Puzzle People. I think she's also on like the UK JPA Facebook page. You can find her on there. And if you shoot her a message, she'll add you straight to the Discord.
And I like seeing these. I like when new people are joining into these types of groups and things like that because, like yourself, when you just kind of dropped into speed puzzling last
Mhm.
year, you ended up being the fastest person from the UK. These types of groups can help reveal people that might have these talents that we're not quite aware of until there's a platform for them. And this is a good way to kind of get people um, involved that
Mhm.
whether they're fast or getting faster, whatever it might be, it's good to see. Um, do you think there's any challenges with the puzzle scene in the UK?
Um,
Because we do have like the four countries, which we did talk about. It's not a huge country
mm,
in terms of size. There's a lot of people, more than Canada, but
mm.
it's I find each country has this one, maybe one or two challenges that they're going to solve, but it's there.
Yeah, I feel like I guess it's just the common sort of small country problem, and I think probably Emma mentioned this as well, is obviously just finding enough people in the country that you can put together like teams or pairs to take to like a world event where you can still be competitive. And I think as the UK scene grows and more people will hear about it and join the competitions, that's going to be something that we can really improve and build upon. And obviously sharing the like knowledge and trying to improve each other like in the community, like that's what we're aiming for. We want to be a country that is sort of well respected at Worlds and is more competitive on the international scene. So I guess that is something.
Yeah, and I think the respect is well, as soon as you have somebody in the top 10, there's going to be people will notice the that country. I find the UK is following is very similar track that Australia did in their
Mhm.
inaugural years, where it was they have a great atmosphere, they have a great community, and then you have some top people finishing, like Mel Townsend, Katrina
Mhm.
Coleman, and
Yeah.
few others that are finishing at the high levels. The Aussie All Stars, obviously,
Yeah.
with their team brings that credibility to the country along with the personality of the country. And the UK, I think, is following very in a very
And
similar path.
it makes complete sense because Annika and Jason from our like board, I mean, Jason lives in Australia. Annika used to live in Australia. So I think it is the Australian model that is kind of being replicated in the UK. Um,
Yeah.
anyway.
And it's hard to it's easy to replicate the puzzle association system, I guess, because you just do
Mhm.
what they did. What's not easy to replicate is the community aspect because you can't force that. It has to be natural and
Mhm.
authentic. And I think the UK is doing that
Great.
as we just saw at the World Championships, and I'm sure we'll see again at the World Series and at the World Championships, possibly again this year. With there's a lot of questions with that, but we'll see how that goes. Which kind of brings us into the UK Nationals. We will talk about it briefly. This April 18th and 19th, this episode will likely, definitely be posted just before that takes place. So when this goes up, we will not know what the results were.
Mm.
Um, I think they are, and I think I've already said this, but it's unreleased images again.
Yeah, it's unreleased for all rounds.
Nice.
And we do have more rounds than last time. So last nationals we had just individuals and pairs, and it was one round final. This year we have a 2 day competition. First day is two individual qualifiers, and then a pairs final, and then the second day is a teams final and the individual final. But unreleased across all rounds.
Which is great. It
Yeah.
doesn't give an advantage to anyone that might have been puzzling longer or has a huge collection. I do enjoy that. Um, Individual round first. Your goal, your personal goal. Let's start with that this year. You were the fastest UK puzzler last year. Is that the goal this year?
I would love to win nationals. Like, I'm not gonna lie and say that's not what I'm aiming for. Like, that is what I want.
Good.
But more so than that, and I've said this to Emma Quirk, I want to beat her too. Like, if I'm gonna win, I don't want to win because certain people are excluded. I would love, and I haven't had this ever sort of sort of big competition like this to finish first and actually be the winner. So that is like would be amazing. I don't think that's a given. I think very much like there are people that could definitely not make that not happen. Like some of the international people we've got coming, and there is always the chance that someone's just going to do what I did and come out of the back and do really well. So like you don't know, but like that is my goal and that's what I'm aiming for, and we'll see what happens. Like it'll be fun no matter what. So.
Yeah, we had that's what happened in the Canadian Nationals. The second year we had Megan Sloka show up. No one knew who she was and won the whole thing. We thought it was going to be somebody else or another one or two people that did really well the year before. And yep, someone new shows up and they've won back. Yeah, Megan's won back to back years. So
Yeah.
you never know. I was going to
That was
ask.
me coming in last year, like doing that to some of the other UK people. It's like I can't begrudge anyone for doing that at all.
It's yeah, because I was gonna ask, is the goal to beat Emma? Because you did say friendly
Always.
rivalry, but once that puzzle box opens, the friendliness of the rivalry takes its backseat a little bit. It has to. It's still a competition at the end of the day. Uh, with it, do you? And I forgot to ask this with the last section. They're kind of a crossover here. Do you have any predictions for other potential people to watch out for at nationals, specifically UK
UK
puzzlers?
people. Yeah. So people to watch out for. There's a lady called Sarah Mills. She competes and often wins, I think has won a few years, in fact. There was a competition called the what's it called now? It's like a Gibson's Open, basically, where it's 1,000 piece Gibson's puzzle. They have the same one for individuals, pairs, and teams, and everyone competes at the same time. And it's always been much more of like a fundraising kind of fun competition. But it is a speed competition, and she will regularly win the individuals on that. She did also go to Worlds back in 2019, I think, and finished fifth. So she is always one to like keep an eye out and watch out for, because I think she came third behind me and Emma last year at Nationals as well. So she's like a big one to keep an eye on. Um, there's then all the people who sort of were pushing for like the world's final or have done well at other like regional events in the UK. So like ones that came to mind, Ruby Lavender is someone who came, I think, fourth at UK Nationals last year, if I'm right. She qualified for the world's final. She's always competitive. And then a girl called Sophie Hill, who kind of came out of nowhere at Worlds last year, and she'd booked to go home after the qualifiers, thinking she wouldn't get through, and qualified through to finals. So I'm sure she's one that if she's been training, she'll be like one to really look out for. There's also a couple of ones who regularly do online competitions and are always like competitive. So Shona Redman is one. She crops up a lot in the EJJs, and she has some really good results, and has really gotten a lot faster the last 12 months. And Helen Savin is another one who always does well. So there are definitely names to keep an eye out for. And we also have Kirsty. I mean, I don't think she's going to be at nationals, but she's a UK person who's always competitive.
Yeah.
And a couple of like international people living in the UK that like in my mind they are sort of British puzzlers, but they do compete under another flag at Worlds. That would be Charlotte Kirby, who competes under the New Zealand flag, and Eric from Norway. He is a really fast puzzler. He often comes second behind me at the UK Puzzle Guzzles. But he's another one that does really well, is really fast, and like consistent as well.
Yeah, and that is quite the list of people, and these are just um,
It's the tip of
ones
the
that
iceberg. Yeah.
yeah, very, very much so. There's so many. It's up and comers, and I'm
Yeah.
I really hope that I do hope that you do very well at nationals and win. That'd be great to see. But at the same time, I always like when that someone from nowhere
Yeah.
shows up that no one's ever heard of, and
And there's a
wow
part of
type
me
of
that would like absolutely love to see that as well.
yeah.
And like,
See them get second place. So yeah, that's what.
no, no, no. Like if they win, I would be very happy, honestly.
Yeah, okay. Uh, and then you're also competing in pairs. And I do want to
Yeah.
talk about this because I did speak with your partner a couple days ago, and she told me that you were partnered up. And before I say who it is, I don't think it's fair that the two of you are paired up. I did say to her that is there a potential that you do the puzzle twice and you get first and second place? Because I think that's a realistic possibility that the fact that you and Emma Quirk are paired up for the pairs round. I mean, that I don't know who competes with I don't know who competes with that. That's an insane combination. What made you decide? Because as you mentioned, you can no longer win the prizes, correct, for the
You can
pairs?
win the prizes for pairs. So with
Oh,
teams
okay.
and pairs, you can have an international person like in your team or pair. So for pairs, as long as one person is from the UK, you can count. And for teams, I think you've got to have a majority be from the UK, and you can still count as a UK team or pair. And that's to get around. There are a lot of people in living in the UK who like maybe compete under other flags, or they've got a partner who is like foreign or something like that. So it covers all those situations.
Okay.
And it means that
So
me and Quirk can compete together.
yes. Okay. So when you get first place, I'm gonna make that prediction now. That is the winning pair for the UK. If it's not, um,
Then there has been some new fast people coming up, which will be great.
yeah, yeah. 'Cause it won't just have to be one fast, but it has to be two people that are paired together on the same pairing to beat the two of you. That's not like in the most humblest of ways. You have to be feeling confident about the pairs round more than anything, really.
Yeah, I would guess that's like out of the three, that would be the one where like going in, we're probably most confident. I don't think it's never a given. Um,
Never a given, but
Never.
confident wise,
Yeah.
it's got to be
But
up there. But
the intention with putting that pair together though was very much to be competitive, like at an
yeah,
international competition like Worlds. Um, I don't know, like I don't think Emma could have a pair from Ireland or I could have a pair from the UK at this point where like we would be able to be competitive at an international level. But the two of us competing together and we go to all the same competitions, we see each other, like because she'll come to the UK once I went over and helped with the Irish one recently. So and like she qualified for the nationals at the UK last year. So it almost feels like we're from the same country, even if we're not sort of really. So
she did live there. That was mentioned in our talk. She did live in the
yeah,
UK,
she
so
did
it counts.
for about 9 years when
Yeah,
she was young. Yeah. But no, so like I think the goal is very much like that pair was put together to try and compete at Worlds, and obviously nationals and any other competition that we can do is just like great practice for that because we don't get to see each other all the time.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
It's going to be quite the pairing, and it will be live streamed. I'm assuming again. So yes, I'll be watching that. I don't think no, that's one of my no competition weekends. So yes, I will be able to watch that one. I did last time at the best as I could. So
And I don't know if
very
you watched the
interested.
Cardiff live streams, but the Jason's been really working behind the scenes. The quality of them now is like really great. So I think it will be a great live stream experience.
I think this will be the fifth. There's the six nationals of the year so far. They've all been live streamed, which has been great to see. Even the smaller one, like the Colombian one, was live streamed. If someone from that's running the Canadian uh, nationals is watching this, we can't be the first not to have it. I don't know if it's set up to do live stream, but I really hope we have it as well because I'm thinking the next few are definitely going to be live
Yeah.
streamed. But it's
And
it's just fun to watch.
Jason's system has got like he'll have three on the screen at the time. He'll have names and like facts underneath. And like the general setup of it is like it looks very professional and slick now. So like that's a real credit to him. Like it looks great.
That is good to see because yeah, we just had I don't know which nationals it was. If it was Sweden, I think had
Mhm.
something similar where the names was on the screen. Australia
Well, Jason
has
was doing the live streams for both of those, I think.
there you go. That would be the reason why. That's yeah. What's
He's
his
a bit of a traveling sort of live streamer now. He does quite a few.
yeah, great. Does he want to come to Canada? Uh,
Honestly, ask him and he probably will.
yeah, that would be nice. Which brings us into the main thing that I do want to talk about. So the second main thing after the UK stuff is the World Series. We'll spend a little bit of time on this. This is the lead up. I hope to have a couple more guests on here, and specifically those who will be competing at a higher level than I will be at the World Series. We will have very different goals. Let's just say that. Um, are you doing anything so we're recording on the 9th of April, so we are less than 2 months, less than a month away. Um, 3 weeks tomorrow is the competition. So we are 22, 21 days away at this point. Are you doing anything to prepare without giving too much? You can give as much away as you want to, because I
I'm an open book,
understand.
honestly. I really don't mind.
I've
Um,
spoken with some people and they're very secretive on what their approach is. They'll post that they're doing puzzles, but that is where they're stopping. Their hints, I guess. What are you doing to prepare?
so I guess trying to replicate the different rounds as much as possible. So in terms of the Ravensburger rounds on the first day, just trying to get my hands on as many new Ravensburgers to me where possible, trying to match the prompts, although there are some of the prompts where I'm like, I'm not quite sure what would count as like a busy image or repetition or like so I like just trying to practice a variety of like Ravensburger images, as many first time attempts as possible for those. Um, the unboxed, I do like puzzling without the box, and like it's not something that I was like super worried about going in. Um, and but I have just been doing unboxed puzzles, so we've had a bit of a, and again, this goes to the UK community. The people who were going to Munich, we've had like a bit of an unboxed relay. So we each picked a random 500 piece puzzle that no one else had done on my speed puzzling. And we've had a chain going around in the post. So every week or so, from like the start of the year till now, I've had one turn up on my doorstep. And we write down our times on a piece of paper and pass it on to the next person. So yeah, that's been great as a good way to practice. I also live really close to Graham and Jodie Parker, who run the UK Puzzle Guzzle, and go over their house fairly regularly just to hang out and puzzle. And they have a huge puzzle collection. So every time I see them, Graham will hand me some baggies of pieces, and I'll get another batch to practice. So that round I've like been working on well. The two that I'm probably the least confident with are the two Gibson's rounds. The Although Gibson's is a UK brand,
Yeah.
they're not puzzles that I do. I would say like, and to be honest, like I think that's the same for a lot of the UK puzzlers. They're like puzzles that your gran would do is honestly the way I would sort of describe it. So they're not like images and styles of puzzle that I've particularly ever done a lot of. And although there are some that are easily available in the UK, it's only a quite a small number of the Gibsons. A lot of them are like back catalogue, honestly. So to get hold of them, it is still just trawling charity shops or Vinted and trying to get hold of as many as you can. Um, but like the puzzles themselves, I'm not finding the easiest. The circles in particular, like I don't normally mind a circle puzzle, like the Ravensburger circle ones, like I'm okay with them. But I find the piece cut on these Gibson's ones pretty challenging. And there are also two different piece cuts. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Yeah.
So like which one is the right one? And like in terms of finding like years and like when were they published, like that's not as easy as it is with Ravensburger. Um, so yeah, those, and I guess also like not really sure about images because a lot of the puzzles that exist are a certain type of image, but are they going to go that way? Yeah, that kind of thing. Or are they
Yeah.
going to try something like a bit faster or a bit more appealing? So like I think that's probably for me the most unknown. And then the panorama, I mean the piece quality is not like amazing on them. And like it is just the space management and having more pieces. And like by my reckoning, that is going to be probably the most important round because it's the one where everyone's times are going to be bigger. Um, and the gaps are probably going to be bigger. So in terms of like an overall combined time at the end, that is going to probably be weighted more heavily because it's going to be the slowest and it's going to take people longer to do more pieces. So I think those two are the ones that like I'm more nervous about. I've got hold of as many as I could like from Vinted and I have done some practices. They've not necessarily gone amazing, but I'm just keeping with them. And I think having done one or two and starting to like slightly know sort of how the piece cut is generally, it does help a little bit. So I can see that if you haven't been able to even get hold of one or two to practice, like that is going to be a bit of a disadvantage going in for sure.
Yeah, I agree with everything that was in there. Let's break this down a little bit in it. So we do have day one, which are the three
Mm.
Ravensburgers. As you mentioned, there's three different
Mm.
themes across
Mm.
those, and like I've spoken with Mel and a few other people, and I've mentioned that they've phrased it very intentionally, I think, to make it as vague as possible, but
Yeah, I
still
think so.
giving us enough information that we can make as many guesses as we want. And I've said
And
this
like the
before, like,
ultimate image will probably not be a surprise at the end. Yeah.
yeah, but it's open to interpretation. I've mentioned it on this
Mm.
channel a few times. Like even the gradient round. When you say gradient, you're like,
Mm.
oh, it's gonna be a rainbow, nice colors flowing. It could be black and white. It could be gray, black to white is the
Mm.
gradient. Like we have no idea what it could be all blue and it's just different shades of blue. It's we don't know what they actually mean by gradient, how much of it's a gradient, what constitutes a gradient. Um,
Because is a puzzle with like a gradient sky, even if that's only a third of the puzzle, is that enough to still be a gradient puzzle, or is it more than that? Like this is where like you say, open to interpretation.
yeah, it
That's why for
I
me, like tr instead of trying to like guess what I think these prompts mean, just practicing a broader range of images as possible. It just to me seems like the way to go.
Absolutely. And I did get confirmation from the organizers that the Paris puzzle from Worlds does not count as a gradient because it's
That
clearly
color bar,
separated
yeah,
lines
I
in the
completely
back.
agree.
Yeah, because I did want to make sure because some people have said, well, it does get lighter as it goes through the sky. It's like, yeah, but it's sectioned off. It's not. It doesn't flow, so it can't be a gradient. So at least that's been narrowed down a
Mm.
little bit. So I don't need to practice or even
Mm.
do that Paris. I still haven't done that one either, but I don't need to worry about those types of things. Yeah, the detailed puzzle, does it mean details as in very fine details? Does that mean it's really busy, like kawaii chaos type of
Yeah.
details?
Could it be that
Um,
kind of thing?
is it like if I look at the Gibson's one held up here,
That is a
this
detailed
is
puzzle.
it's
Yeah.
very detailed. Um, is
Or
that
something
what
like,
they?
is it like school days, like that Ravensburger one, where it's kind of like an illustration with like a ton of stuff going on? Like it could be like so open to interpretation.
Yeah, I have like even I know it wouldn't be anything like this. This is a large piece Ravensburger, but like the sewing kit type, there's a lot of details going on in there. But it's a very
Or like
easy
a color
puzzle.
palette one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's there's so many different ways to interpret this. Jazzy is a busy one. Like there's no way to know, which I do like going into it. I don't want too much information given away, obviously, because that takes away from the main aspect of this setup for this competition is to remove as many advantages
Mm.
as possible and to remove luck from it as well. Like I said with the
Because
World Championships last year, if I'm in round C for the semifinals, I'm probably in the finals. I was in round A. If I was in round B, I might not even finish the puzzle. It just depended on what semifinal I got put into, and unfortunately, that's what it was. This time, everyone gets the same.
yeah, and it's just gonna, even if we can't guess exactly what style of image it's gonna be, it is just gonna be three different styles of images with three different things to try and like test yourself on. So like that eliminates out a lot of that like bias for one type of puzzle or another, just even across those three straight away.
Yeah. And I don't think it's going to make a huge difference at the very top in terms of the leaderboard because the top puzzlers are the top puzzlers for a reason. They're universally good at the
Mhm.
puzzle. Like it's not as though um, like Victor or Alejandro or Emma or uh,
Chatty or
Ver-
yeah, any of those
yeah,
people.
Veronica, like all these people that were at the top, they didn't happen to luck out and get the exact puzzle every single time. Like, so it's there's so many things to take into consideration there. Is there for day one then? Is there a certain round you're looking most forward to of those three?
I mean, like my heart would say like the gradient. Like I really like a gradient sky or a gradient puzzle, but then like my head does say like that is going to be a fast round for everyone. Um, I think probably out of all of the rounds, that's going to be one where the times are the closest, and probably in the end it will matter the least. So like I'm looking forward to that puzzle because I know it'll be a nice one that will be probably nice and quick to do, but like I don't necessarily think that's something where I'm gonna like have a massive advantage or be able to gain time or anything like that. Like I just think everyone's gonna do well in that sort of puzzle.
Yeah, depending on what the gradient is. If it's a
Yes.
rainbow, I think we go really fast. If it's black and white or it's a solid color, I don't think it's as fast as because lighting will start to play it. Lighting, we don't know for sure. The venue looks nice, but lighting on a gradient can make a huge, huge difference. And the fact that you're going to be in the
Especially if it's
same
just
seat
playing.
the
Yeah.
whole way through, if you sit down on that first day and you realize, oh, I'm in a bad lighting spot, that's a tough 6 rounds for you. So hopefully that's fine. I trust at this point it will
I
be.
yeah.
Um, that it will be fine, but we don't know until we're there. There's only so much control you have over lighting, and once everyone's there, we don't know how what the spectator view if that's going to impact from above. Like there's so many unknowns going into it, but that's for a different video.
Mhm.
Into day two, you mentioned the mystery puzzle round. And the community, which I think is great with that. I do want to mention to my Canadian puzzle community as well. They were quite supportive of me. At this point, I may be the only Canadian going from Canada to the World Series. There's two from the US that are going. There is one from France that
Mhm.
is going, and then there's a fifth one that we don't really know much about at this
It's straight
point.
Canadian.
Yeah, they may live in Canada, they may not. I think they do, but again, we don't really know. But no, a couple weeks ago, I was at a 24-hour charity marathon, and I asked just openly if someone's going to be there, if people can bring unboxed puzzles for me to
Mhm.
borrow. In the final lead up, a month to go, and I left there with 85 unboxed
I saw on
puzzles.
Instagram, like it was crazy how many you got.
Yeah, it was. Uh, and I've already had like
Canada
20 or
showed up
so.
for you.
Yeah. So by the time I'll have over 100 that I've practiced, I am very concerned about that round for me. My times have not been what I want with them recently, but I'm hoping it's because some of these have been insane choices for speed puzzling and that I'll be over prepared because I'm doing such tough ones now that when an easy one shows up, we're
I think that is the way to go because this is going to be specifically picked as an unboxed puzzle. And like, I don't think they're going to make it to the point where like it's really tricky to finish in the time and like you end up with 100 people not finishing the puzzle. I think they are going to be bearing the time limit in mind and there are going to be clues. It's not going to be just a full pick and place, really bitty puzzle. Like, I think if you're practicing harder, I think you'll probably be pleasantly surprised when you get there. I would hope.
I would, yeah, and the puzzles have been picked by speed puzzlers.
Yeah.
They've had their input, and just the fact that it's round four and there's two more to go out, there's not a lot of time between rounds, so you can't have 100 people, 200 people sitting there counting pieces,
Yeah.
because we have a quick turnover before the next round starts. It's yeah, so that's the hope, but I'll be concerned about that until it happens, and then
But
yeah, so we have.
it seems like you've done as much as you could to prepare. If you were doing like up to 100 puzzles, like you're probably as prepared at this point as it's possible for you to be.
Yeah, and I think I have like 45 more to go. And have to, and which brings us to the Gibsons. I'm still practicing those. I did my first. I've done Gibsons before, in a competition. I did well in that, but it was a different cut. So it was this one I did in a competition, virtual competition,
Mhm.
which went well. I forget what my time was, but it was around 50 or 40 something, which was very good for me. Uh, but I've done other Gibsons and they have been so much tougher. The fit,
Mhm.
as you mentioned, the fit is a challenge if you've not done one. So I don't think I have it with me at the moment. I did one recently and pieces don't line up perfectly, which I think is going to throw some people off. It's not random, but it's just just before random, I guess. Like all the pieces are normal, but they don't all line up. the same, and that if, again, if you haven't done one, that's going to throw some people off because you're not going to get that perfect. Oh, this lines up. It's it is tough. I've not done the circle yet. That's later this week.
Yeah, I
But
would
yeah,
recommend like really do practice those because I mean the two are different from each other, the piece cuts, but certainly with one of them, like the edge is so false fitty. So like I kind of know now if I get that piece cut, probably don't start with the edge unless it's like a very obvious like patterned edge where like you know it goes together. Like one of the ones I did had sort of like a border with text all the way around, and like it was so hard to get it together. Like the false fits were really bad, and I generally like don't have false fit issues a lot, but like these are something else. Like
yeah, yeah. One of the one Gibsons I did, it was bad. I don't even know what do I have my time here. It was so I yeah track everything. The Gibson's puzzle was where was it? Did I write it down? I
mm,
must have. Oh, there it is. Yeah, so the Gibson's one I did bowling by the brook, an hour 9 minutes. I was shocked that I was that high for five. That was just a regular rectangle, not a panoramic, not a circle, just to get used to the feel of the pieces. I'm under 75, which is nice, but that was not good. Um,
one I did that I like really struggled with. Like I don't know if you've seen this one.
oh, oh no, no,
It's food and it's busy, but like the edge is just basically all this text, and
yeah.
it's foreign languages, and there's like Portuguese and Spanish. So one says buon appetit and one says buon appetito, and like
They
the
knew
edge
what they were
is
doing.
so fast fitting, and some of the pieces have just got this dot on, and like trying to get that together, I spent so long trying to do the edge. Um, yeah, it's they're hard.
Yeah, and then which brings us to the sixth round, which will be the panoramic. I did my first panoramic a couple days on Monday. Uh, for that, I was nervous about the space management. I was okay with that. Easier than a circle, I thought, when it came to space management
Yeah,
because everything's straight.
I tend
And
to
I'll
agree actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I can move stuff around with that. So I was pleasantly surprised. I was still under the 90-minute mark, thank goodness, uh, for that. But it was my first one as well. It was also
What did you
after
do with your pieces? Like, I'm interested to know, like, where did you have them on the table?
I tried to set it up the same as what I do with just a regular rectangle puzzle. So I moved all the edges to the bottom corner, and I tried to get as close to the middle as I could, and assemble right beside where my partner was going to be, and that is where my border is going
Mm.
to go. I don't want to be too far to the opposite side and have stuff fall onto the ground of the actual puzzle. And I did make sure to pull out like one or two projects as I was doing my flip, just because I knew I had to save space somewhere. So if I can get those and put them
Good idea.
into the frame, I didn't get the full frame together, but I got most of it together
Mhm.
enough that I could still work. But because I had a project in the middle, so like it was this puzzle up here, it'll probably be cut off in the final version. But there's a big red car, so I just pulled all the red, and that's a big section. I don't need to worry about having space
Which is
elsewhere.
makes the pass more, doesn't it? Yeah. Because
Yeah,
the struggle I've had is like my default with a rectangle is I have the pieces on the right and I build on the left. And with a panorama,
yeah,
that just doesn't work. Like space wise, it just doesn't work very well. So I've sort of moved to for panorama having the pieces sort of above the puzzle. Like, and that's
yeah.
sort of for me, like space wise, what's worked best. Um,
So I did that. That's how I started my flip. I pushed as many as high as I could go.
mhm.
It threw me off a little bit because I've been doing so many unboxed. I forgot I'm going to have a box there, and suddenly and it's a bigger box. So I was
Yeah.
seeing how far I can push it back without it being on, without it falling off the table. And trying to think, can I bring something that's going to weight like the front of this and make the front heavier in some sort of way so it can be almost entirely off. So I'm still thinking of that
Mhm.
type of strategy. But yeah, push as many pieces up as high as I could. Um, and I'm similar to you. I will build on the left, pieces on the right, for a regular rectangle because I'm right-handed. I just figure that's faster to get
Exactly same with me.
um,
Yeah.
the pieces with it. But I've switched it for this one because it's while it's still speed, the space aspect is so important. I just need something that's going to be comfortable. With it's going to be an interesting round to see how this goes.
Yeah. And like my sort of interest as well is like on the mental side of things. So having these cumulative rounds and going into these final puzzles with either knowing that you're leading or that maybe like if where you want to be you need to like catch up some time or make time up on people. um like that mental like pressure of like, okay, the claps happened but now I've got like 2 minutes I need to finish, and like how does that play into people's performance? Like that is something like going into those final rounds that I'm kind of intrigued by. And if you do have a bad round, like being able to mentally recover in like the 30 minutes that you have to then sit down and do another puzzle, how does that like affect people? Like so I think that side of things is another big unknown that like until you're there, like you're not going to know how that's going to affect you.
Yeah, and it's just to add to that, um, it's all the same people in every single round, and who finishes first is almost secondary because it's as you said, it's a cumulative time where if you are someone that's going to get distracted by the clap, if there's I don't know how many
Mm.
claps there's going to be in this case because your time in that round will matter to the next one. Do you have 3 seconds to waste by doing your little clap and going back to it and just and getting your mind out of it? Or is
Mm.
it, sorry, I don't care if you just finished. I don't like it doesn't that doesn't matter to me. We'll congratulate you after. I don't think
Mm.
we hear as many claps from participants in in this one, even for the people that finish first.
Mm.
And even in the last round, whoever finishes first might not be the overall winner because we don't know
Yeah.
how that's going to all add up
There's
together.
going to be
And
people spectating who are like frantically like adding figures up and how long does this person have to finish before they like aren't winning, and like the commentary
I,
for it is going to be interesting to see how they like manage all of that. Like
yeah, how Jim and Fruzy are going to do this is there going to there must be someone there that's going to have like the spreadsheets of all the different math that has to go on and what people need, how much participant A has to beat participant B by to get that win. It's and I've made the comparison before. It's like a Tour de France situation where it's if you win the last stage, who cares? What were your first 5 stages? Like it makes a huge difference. Is there a round that you think people are going to be underestimating the difficulty?
I think the one that would like most spring to mind for me would be the Gibson's round puzzles, because like I think people might fall into the trap of being like, well, I've done round Ravensburger puzzles, like how different could it be? But like the piece cut, the quality, and like putting them together is so much more tricky. So I think that's one where people could underestimate.
Yeah, I'm when I do my first one, it's hard to get the circle puzzles here for Gibson's, so I don't know how many I'll get through. But I know they're slightly smaller than Ravensburger, so I was like, "Oh, that's nice. We're gonna have more space." And then I'm hearing the feedback going, "Yeah, that's the only benefit. That's where the benefits end.
Mhm.
It's tougher than the Ravensburgers for sure." Um, do you have out of the 6 rounds, are you looking forward to one the most
I would
or the
say
least?
probably the unbox for me.
Okay, just because it's
Um,
going to be an interesting round, or you think you're going to do very well at that one in particular?
I think it's around where I'm gonna perform reasonably well. Like I think it is probably gonna play to my strengths. That's not to say I don't think, like you said before, the other fast puzzlers will also be good at unbox puzzles. I completely expect that. But I do just think it might just cause a few like anomalies, or like it might just mix up the results a little more than some of the other ones do, which I think is just interesting.
I'm going to come back to that in a second because I do have a question about that. You are currently the 10th fastest puzzler in the world. That is official. This is a new type of competition that I think is going to change how future competitions operate. I think this is a catalyst for a lot of stuff that might be coming up. Do you have a personal goal when it comes to either placement or your overall cumulative time or another goal entirely?
I think cumulative time is just like it's so dependent on puzzle like that comes up. I don't think I can
Yeah.
really like say like I'm aiming for a total time. I would love to come top 10 again. I don't know if that is like realistic. Like the way I see it is like within that group of top puzzlers, like depending on the puzzle, depending on the day, depending on who's had a good night's sleep, or all of these other like little things, I think you could have a day where one person wins, or you could have a day where other people do well. And I do think part of it is like just luck on the day, or like how you're feeling, but also like how you can perform, like how are you mentally, and like does that puzzle suit you, and how are you like doing with it. So I think like I would love to be in top 10, but if I'm in even like the top 20 or 30, like I'm not going to beat myself up at all. Like it just wasn't my day. Like that's absolutely fine for me. Like I'm like I'm competitive, like I want to do well, but I'm also like it's not the end of the world for me. Like I'm happy what however I did. I honestly just have fun competing and being around everyone. Like that for me is the thing. Like the actual number at the end is like it's kind of a lucky bonus, like if it does happen.
And I will have a couple preview videos still to come out in the final lead up to this, but I've been going through participant lists and seeing what
Mm,
their past big events have been. So, like from the World Championships of 2025, nine of the top 10 are at this competition, and
mm,
I think 15 or 16 of the top 20 will be
mm,
there. And then we also have some people that skipped
mm,
the 2025 World Championships, but were still top 10 or top 20 in 2024. And we have a bunch of Americans that haven't been to World Championships but are very, very good as well that are coming through. So it's it's going to be quite the battle
yeah.
for these spots, and I think anyone finishing in these top 10 or top 20 or even top 30, it's going to be closer than we think with it. Do
I
you
wouldn't be
have
surprised if there's two or three, like maybe that are like a little ahead of the pack, but then I do think there is then going to be like a decent clump of people that are going to be pretty close.
Yeah, I still think everyone's going to stumble at least once. It's to be that consistent across all six. It's
Mhm.
is going to be very tough
Yeah.
with it. Two final questions for this one. Do you have a prediction for the mystery brand?
No.
Oh, okay,
But like I really I don't have any real thought. Like no, I think it could be anything. And
well,
I'm
that
practicing
is
it that it could be anything.
yeah. Yeah, I have some guesses which I'll keep to myself for now, but
Fine.
they are there's some that I think a lot of people are considering really popular choices. So like I see a lot of people suggesting Treffle might be the one because that's the European
Right.
Championships.
Yeah, I guess is
Um,
another popular one.
Schmidt is German based. The company that does like Bluebird and Pieces and Peace from France, they've I've seen them on people's lists of potential ones as well. It'd be interesting to see a non-European brand make an appearance because that will throw a lot of people off if
This does.
suddenly like a
Yeah.
Canadian brand showed up, like the Occurrence or something like that. A random cut puzzle could show up, and we've not been preparing as much for that because why would you? It's
Yeah. And I just think in general, like my approach is never to like I guess overanalyze or over try and like second guess things because like I just don't want to
that's all I
disappoint
do.
you. Because like even like say with an EJJ where you'll get a box, like people in the UK will say to me, "Oh, like have you worked out the brand?" I'm like, I haven't even thought about it. I just like I'll take it when it comes. Like I'm happy to go in with the mystery.
I'm the opposite. I will try to analyze as much as I
I think
possibly.
most puzzlers are, honestly.
Every virtual competition, I'll have the box. It's all wrapped up, but I'll have it like I'll be placing it on top of other boxes of puzzles I have to see if it matches, like measuring the dimensions and looking up online to see what it might be. And yeah, it's and there's
Looking
yeah,
at
I know there's
catalogs, practicing
yeah,
puzzles. Like I don't do that. Like,
yeah. And then yeah, just the second last question for this section. Do you have a prediction for the overall winner of the World Series?
hmm. I think there are a few people who I think could be in contention. And I think like the mentality is really going to come into it. I think that is the big unknown in all of it. But I think it's going to be your names that you're seeing, like your Veronicas, your Victors, your Christians, your Cattys. Like it's going to be Alejandro. Like it's going to be from that clump, almost certainly. But I think it's going to be whoever's like mental game holds up that like ultimately goes to win.
Yeah. And I think that's a huge factor that no one's really been tested on before, and this will be a lot. The last question, which it's impossible to know until we're actually there. Do you think the order of the rounds makes sense?
I think I don't know if I would have had the like slow panorama as the final puzzle. Is the only thing I would change.
I would have placed the mystery one as
Yeah, I think
the
that would be
last
great.
puzzle
Because
because
I
it's
also think mentally, like it's possibly the one that's most likely to throw people off. And
yeah,
having that at the end means that it's not going to impact on other puzzles. But also like it's just more exciting to have like towards the end, like the close finishes and like that kind of thing. Whereas I think everything is going to get stretched out a lot more with the panorama.
yeah, yeah, but yeah, another pun intended with that.
Literally. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think yeah, having starting off the day with the 636 puzzle on day two, I think would have been nice for it. It's a rectangle.
Mm.
It's a longer rectangle, but it's a rectangle. Starting with the circle, I don't think would have been nice. But um, yeah, flipping those two rounds, I think would have been good. A pure Ravensburger
It'd be
day,
a
I
long
do.
slog at the end of like 2 days of competing to do a bigger piece count like at the end.
Yeah, yeah, that's what's going to be. I think that's going to be tough as well, mentally wise.
Mhm.
If I don't predict there's going to be a lot of people going out on the Friday night in Munich because it's going to be an exhausting 2 days. It's all 500 pieces except for the last one, but it's going to be an intense
It's
little
packed.
bit. Yeah, it's I'm very excited to see how that's going to go. Just to kind of wrap up a little bit of stuff here before we go to the final questions. The rest of 2026, just are you returning to the World Championships this year?
Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent, and obviously competing in all the different rounds with
Yeah.
it. Um, I won't get into the World Championships too much because World Series is by far more important at the moment. But I do think it's going to be it's going to be different this
Yeah.
year in terms of participants, in terms of
Mhm.
atmosphere with it. So we'll see how that goes. But your next big event, which you are leaving for in less than 12 hours, I would think at the
Yeah.
time of this recording. So thank you for doing this before you have to leave for France. You are competing in the French 24-hour
Yeah.
marathon. Are you excited about that?
I'm excited. I've done some 10-hour marathons in the past. So I am also nervous because I think I got to about hour 8 or 9 of those marathons and like powered down. Like I just like mentally like went. I mean, with those marathons, you're on a team of six, 4 of you competing, so you have less breaks. I mean, here we do have a team of eight, so like you do have longer breaks and more breaks. So I'm hoping that's enough to get me through. Um, I'm also mindful of the fact that like, is it the best preparation to go and do this the weekend before nationals and like tire myself out? So we'll see how that goes. But it's going to be fun. Like there's people that I met at Worlds that I've chatted to since online, and actually getting a chance to hang out with some of those international puzzlers in person is going to be like a great thing. So it'll be fun.
Like I said, I just did a team marathon a couple weeks ago. It's an enjoyable time, but I've done individual 24-hour marathons as well, and I just kind of remind people it's a marathon. You
Mhm.
can't be speeding the entire time. You can't be standing assembling the pieces the entire time. Your back will be, I don't care if you are 12 years old or 92 years old, your back cannot do that for the full time. And yes, you do have the UK Nationals coming up the week after, which, in my opinion, is a bit more important and is the focus. But as long as you enjoy the marathon, there is a Canadian team that will be there
Is
as
there?
well at the French marathon. They are flying. I don't know if they've left already, but I know some of them are leaving tonight to fly in. So that'll be interesting with the jet lag, how they do, plus a marathon. And then a few of them are actually going up to the UK Nationals to compete the week
Oh,
after
fun. Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I saw
So
some names on the list. Yeah.
yeah, the small Canadian invasion of people. We're
Yeah, we've
starting
got an
slow.
Australian invasion and an American invasion as well. So,
Yeah. Do you have any other major events or anything this year?
I don't think so. Not apart from what we've already talked about, no.
Awesome. So yeah, we'll go into the last few questions that I
Mhm.
asked kind of everybody on here.
Mhm.
And the first one is about goal setting, and we
Mhm.
have people that are really quick, such as yourself. You have people that are fast but not at the top, maybe in my
Mhm.
kind of bracket, and we have people that are medium or introducing themselves to the sport whole range in this. Do you have any advice for when it comes what they might consider when they're setting their own personal goals in terms of puzzling?
I think just maybe the natural tendency is to just like compare. And sometimes I think like comparison isn't always helpful depending on what you're comparing. So I think don't immediately compare yourself to the very top puzzlers. Try and find people who are a similar level to you and then like compare with those people that you know are like around that same margin as you. And then also like if you do a puzzle one day and then the next day you pick up a different 500 piece puzzle and your time is slower, don't immediately be down on yourself because that might just be a harder puzzle. And that's something that I sort of tried to say to my mum. She's recently started getting into doing a few of the UK online competitions. And she said to me, I'm just getting worse every week. And I'm saying to her, well, actually, no, this is a much harder puzzle. My time was slower as well. Like, don't compare not like for not like. Like, just be careful of comparison, I think.
Yeah, I fully agree. And it's um like there are places like My Speed Puzzling, which has the
Mm.
new features that let you compare a little bit easier. But also keeping in mind, not everyone reveals every puzzle they do, or posts every puzzle they do. So you might see an amazing time, but we don't know if that's the first or the 10th or
That
the
might be the
50th.
30th time they've done it.
Um, yeah, so it's just tracking your own progress as well. As long as you're seeing overall improvements, you're good.
Yeah.
Next one is part of this channel, which I'm very far behind with the speed puzzling 101 lessons, just because I've been so focused on the World Series and such. So the series will return soon. But speed puzzling 101 lessons to help
Mhm.
people that might be starting the sport, or even fast people that are looking for another point of view. I ask every guest, is there a specific challenge or some sort of advice or something that I might be able to showcase in one of those lessons?
I guess something that I like thought of that you could practice, and something that's like helped me is like improving sorting, if that makes sense, at speed. So where you're trying to pull out a section of the puzzle, being like specific with what are you pulling out. So if there's, I don't know, like a blue car and a blue sky in the same puzzle, if you're just pulling out all of the blue and then trying to work it out, trying to like be more disciplined and intentional with what you're pulling and trying to really focus on those sort of differences that let you sort out sections, but also not just skimming over the pile so quickly that you only pull out half of that section. So trying to be disciplined with the way you're like pulling pieces, and trying to pull so that you are building the pieces you're pulling are one section and you've got pretty much the complete section. I think that's something to practice.
Definitely. And I actually do struggle with that. If I have a blue sky and a blue car, I will pull I know I
Mm.
shouldn't, but I'll pull all the blue and then because in my mind it does make sense. Once they're all together, all the blues together, I can more easily separate the
Easily
blues.
separate, yeah.
Because you can see the differences much clearer.
Like the comparisons there, yeah.
Yeah. But you're just doing a double sort at that point as well, which takes up time.
Mm.
And when time might matter, 5 seconds, 10 seconds is a huge amount for Canby. So yeah, I love that one. That will definitely be.
And I would say as well, like if you have that, like if you can think of a puzzle where you've done that, like you've pulled two red things or two blue things, go back and try that puzzle again. And this time, like you saw the comparison, you saw the difference. Like, can you now, if you do it a second time, now be more specific and pull that section?
Definitely. Love it. And then, yeah, we're just going to finish off with the quick fire questions. Before I
Mhm.
do that, though, I forgot to ask this at the start. I should have done that. You have your own Instagram
Mhm.
channel or platform where you do post your competition results and your puzzle journey just for the people that are interested. Where can they follow along with that?
Yeah, so it's Rachel is puzzled at Instagram and Rachel is with an AEL at the end.
Yep. Yep. The name is spelled correctly on here. I hope I don't make that mistake, but yeah, the name is on there. And that'll all be in the description below as well. So yeah, just to finish off with the quick fire questions, just whatever comes to your mind first. Here we go. Your favorite brand of puzzle?
I'm gonna have to be really basic and just say Ravensburger. I would say my second choice would be Schmidt though. The quality's great on a Schmidt puzzle.
Your favorite piece count?
Um, for speed 500, but for sort of casual, 2000 is a really nice number to sort of sit and do a long puzzle at a table.
Yeah. Your favorite cut style?
Just a regular standard ribbon cut is perfect for me.
Your favorite speed puzzle event that you've taken part in?
Um, I guess I'd have to say the World Championships.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that could change over the next
It could.
month, really. There's three possibilities coming
Mhm.
up. Your favorite puzzler?
Um, I've got two. So the two I would say would be Kristen Tooth and then also Mercedes. And I don't know where Mercedes has gone. She's sort of like gone underground. But I really like their style of puzzling. I think I like model myself after them in that I'm not like fast hands like a Victor or an Alejandro. I'm much more like accurate, like slower, but like accurate. And I really look up to both of those. I think they're both amazing puzzlers.
Yeah. Your favorite puzzle that you've ever done?
I think I'd probably say Time for Tea, UK National is just the first ever competition, that like rush of like competing. It's got a lot of happy memories doing that puzzle.
Yeah. And it's a nice design too. I do want to try that
Yeah,
at some
it
point.
is a really nice puzzle.
Yeah. Your hardest puzzle that you've ever done?
I mean, I've done the Ravensburger Peacock, so it's probably that one. It's just awful.
That is one I've not tried and I don't plan on trying.
Although I will
Your
say it did get faster on a second try.
no. Your least favorite design to see on a puzzle?
Yeah, so I would say like one of two things. So like I like having sections like blocks that I can pull out. So either something where it's just like blocks of color and like more shape work, or where it's like extremely busy and detailed and it's more pick and place and you can't pull sections.
Yeah. Yeah. Your favorite puzzle moment?
I think worlds where me and Emma both realized that we'd come in the top 10. Like that moment, like that whole day was just amazing.
Yeah, that's definitely the right answer for that one, I think. Uh, your favorite way to get new puzzles?
I really like picking them up secondhand where I can. So Vinted is great in the UK for picking up puzzles. We also are good at swapping puzzles. So whenever we have events, we'll pre-arrange swaps and swap puzzles over between us. And Graham and Jodie, who I live close by, we're constantly borrowing puzzles from each other. So
Awesome. And last question, your dream puzzle that you've not done but wish you could.
it's gonna have to be large piece puzzles like the Seven Portals puzzle. I do have them. I'm anticipating having another knee surgery where I'm going to be off work for 8 weeks. So I have them and they will be done in that time. So something to look forward to.
That's yeah, that's one way to get through the rehab process is do some puzzles. That's
Yeah.
makes perfect sense for
I
that.
might finally work out how to use my left hand while I'm puzzling.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, that's all we need is you to be even faster. As no, that was great. Thank you so much, Rachel, for joining me, and good luck in the UK Nationals. And I will see
Thank
you
you.
in 3 weeks in Munich.
Yeah, I'll look forward to meeting you in person then. Thank you for having me.